You know, the thing I love the most about the Jenny video, as I call it, is the way her family treated the whole situation of their daughter's birth. The doctors and the nurses said, "We're sorry, here's your daughter, and there's something different." But they took Jenny home to her brothers and said, "Here's your sister," not "Here's your sister and you need to treat her differently." And because of that, Jenny was set on a path where she saw herself as a person, not as a person with quotes around it. And that, in its essence, is what Easter Seals is all about. It's about offering assistance to people who might need assistance, like Jenny. Unemployment for adults with disabilities is over 70%. How would you even get an interview? Jenny has been a teacher's assistant in a school for children with disabilities for the last 15 years now. She brings home her own paycheck. Her parents are very proud of her. And Jenny feels just like every one of you, proud of what she does. She's a person. And that's what Easter Seals believes. Inside, people are all the same, whether you have a disability or not. In fact, look around the room. We're all screwed up in one way or another. Next thing I'd like to tell you about is another arm of Work First, and that's our Veterans Program, which we started last year in San Diego. We're very excited. Coming up in June, we're going to be honoring on the field at Petco Park with probably 500 CVS employees there. We're going to be honoring and recognizing our 100th veteran that we've found employment for. So our Veterans Program is much like the rest of Easter Seals programs. It's one-on-one. We sit down with the individual. They do not need to be an injured veteran. Any man or woman who's served their country, if they need help finding their way back to work, that's what Work First is all about. We sit down, we ask them what they want. We help them with writing resumes, with doing preparatory interviews, and we stay with them until the process is finished. And I'm very proud to say that we've hired over 80. Not one of them has left that job. So we're doing something to give them a thank you, a lift up onto that level playing field, and then we're out of their life because they're back to work. Another wonderful program that most people are unaware of, we call Adult Day. And that's a program throughout Southern California where adults with disabilities who can't work, these may be folks who were born with a disability, or perhaps somebody who was in a terrible motorcycle accident, and they didn't die, but they're not able to work anymore. Our client helpers, our employees, bring them out of their homes Monday through Friday, help them one-on-one to volunteer at community centers all over Southern California, at nonprofits all over Southern California. They help each one with skills like learning to ride the bus and everything else that gives that person the dignity and the ability to have the best quality of life possible. That's our Adult Day program. Another program that's really unique, we call Living Options. So I want you to think about an individual who's born 50 years ago with severe disabilities, and the parents were told, "We're sorry, your son or daughter has severe disabilities. You're not going to be able to maintain this. You should put them in an institution." So that's the decision they made. Now, 50 years later, the state of California is saying, this is too expensive. Plus, this person's never had a moment's privacy. So they've asked Easter Seals and other organizations to help these individuals live in independent living situations. So we work for months with the individuals, with their families. You can imagine their moms and dads are in their 70s and 80s. We help prepare them to move into an environment where there's 3 to 4 adults in a home. They pick the furnishings, they pick the furniture. It's their home. We have staff there 24/7, but our staff work their 8-hour shift and then go home. This is not an Easter Seals home. This is the home of our clients, and each of them has a private entrance from their bedroom out into the backyard, because the one thing they've never had is privacy. We have 3 to 4 adults in 17 of these homes. So far, no one has asked to go back. Another great program from Easter Seals Southern California is our Child Development Centers. We have over 1,500 2, 3, and 4-year-olds in Head Start and early Head Start programs. But more than that, our educators, our Easter Seals associates there have master's degrees. They focus on helping families grow, helping these kids be ready for kindergarten when the time comes. So, as you can get a sense, if you were to enter, and I invite you to, any other Easter Seals facility and look around, you'll see people with the same kind of philosophy as you. People that want to make a difference in the lives of others. I want to tell you about a gentleman who I worked with. He was a good friend of mine. His name was David. And David was my assistant. As I told you earlier, I spent many years in the retail drug business. David was my assistant for about a year. He was a charming, good-looking guy. I used to think of him as a bit of a movie star because every time I'd go on the sales floor, there'd be 3 girls talking to him and I'd have to shoo them away. Well, David came up to me one day and said, Dan, I love working here, but I got to find a job that pays me more and gives me more time off because I love to party. And of course, in the retail drug business, we work a lot of nights and a lot of weekends. So Dave went off and he found that job. He was living the life of Riley, and about 2 years later, dove into the swimming pool at a Palm Springs pool party and broke his neck. And his life was changed forever. He was paralyzed from the neck down, and I spoke to him. It was 3 or 4 years later because I had gone from being store manager to the Save-On Osco customer service manager, and I traveled all around the country. And every time we would open a new store, I would talk to the employees about, tomorrow your real job starts. This is the day before the grand opening, so the store looks perfect. But tomorrow is when the customers are going to start coming in here, and you're going to have a chance to make them feel special. Well, I felt very good about doing that. I felt like I was talking about what I knew because I started as an ice cream dipper. That's how I got into retail. I liked it. I liked putting a smile on other people's faces. And so now, at this point, I had about 25 years in, and I knew what to tell people. But all of a sudden, I was unsure because we were going to open our first health and home store, a store that was going to cater to people who had been through things like Dave. And I was all of a sudden unsure what I should tell them. So I thought about Dave. I called him up. He answered the phone, sounded the same as always. I said, Dave, how you doing? He says, I'm doing great. I'm back to work. I got married, and I have a son. And I was like, run that by me again? He said, well, Dan, after my accident, every day for 6 months, I woke up wishing I was dead. But then I woke up one day and I said, I guess I better get back to living. So I called my boss. They reconfigured my home so I could work from home. I married my nurse, and I have a beautiful baby boy, and he's the light of my life. And I was so happy for him, and I almost forgot why I called. But then I said, Dave, I need your help. And I explained the situation I was in, and I said, Dave, I feel very comfortable giving people advice on how to help a customer, but I don't know what to say to a customer who's been through what you've been through. What he told me, folks, I'll never forget. He said, Dan, it's real simple. Just treat me like a customer. Treat me like a person in a wheelchair. I don't feel any different today than I did before my accident. It just takes me a lot longer to get going in the morning. I've never forgotten that, folks. And I can't look each one of you in the eyes right now, but I want you to understand, if there's one thing I want you to know, it's that Easter Seals is about making a difference in the lives of other people, not about feeling sorry for them. They don't want pity. They want dignity. That's what Dave wanted. He said, just ask me, do you need help? How you doing, sir? And treat me like everybody else. I'll be back in a little bit, but next, I want to show you the best 90-second film you ever saw about Easter Seals.